Hello everyone, welcome back to the Network Fixer, the channel where we simplify enterprise networking, cybersecurity, cloud technologies, and IT infrastructure. If you think ransomware is just about encrypting files and demanding money, think again. Today's ransomware groups operate like professional businesses. They have developers, affiliates, support teams, negotiation portals, and even customer service. One of the latest ransomware groups making headlines is the Gentlemen Ransomware. In today's video, we will understand what the Gentleman Ransomware is, how it works, who is at risk, how attackers gain access, what happens during an attack, and most importantly, how organizations can defend themselves. Whether you are a network engineer, security engineer, system administrator, SOC analyst, or simply interested in cybersecurity, this is a threat you should know about. So, without further delay, let's get started. What is the Gentleman Ransomware? The Gentleman is a modern ransomware as a service, commonly known as RaaS or RaaS. Instead of single hacker carrying out every attack, the ransomware operators build and maintain the malware platform while affiliates use it to attack organizations. When a ransom is paid, the profit is shared between the operators and the affiliates. Think of it like a franchisee business. One group develops the ransomware, another group performs the attacks, everyone gets a share of the money. This business model has made ransomware more dangerous than ever before. Why is the gentleman getting attention? Security researchers have observed that the gentleman doesn't rely only on encrypting files. It also steals sensitive information before encryption. This strategy is known as double extortion. If the victim refuses to pay, attackers threaten to publish confidential data on leak websites. Even organizations with good backups can still become victims because their private information is now at risk. This creates enormous pressure on businesses. Who is targeted? Unlike older ransomware campaigns that focused mainly on home users, the Gentleman primarily targets organizations. These include healthcare, manufacturing, education, government agencies, financial institutions, retail, technology companies, managed service providers, and medium to large enterprises. Any organization that stores valuable business data can become a target. Attackers don't usually care about the industry, they care about one thing: who is most likely to pay. How does the attack begin? Every ransomware attack starts with one simple objective: gain initial access. Attackers commonly achieve this through phishing emails, compromised VPN credentials, weak passwords, remote desktop protocol exposure, unpatched vulnerabilities, third party software exploits, stolen credentials purchased from underground marketplaces. Sometimes a single employee clicking a malicious attachment is enough to compromise an entire organization. What happens after attackers get inside? The first step is reconnaissance. The attackers quietly explore the network. They identify domain controllers, file servers, backup servers, virtualization hosts, security solutions, administrator accounts, critical databases. The goal is to understand the entire infrastructure before launching the ransomware. Now let's look at the credential theft. The next step is stealing credentials. Attackers attempt to obtain administrator privileges. They look for cached passwords, browser credentials, Windows credentials, service accounts, domain admin accounts. Once administrative access is obtained, the attack becomes much more dangerous. Let's move on to the lateral movement. Instead of attacking one computer, attackers move across the entire network. This process is called lateral movement. Using legitimate administrative tools, they spread from one device to another. Their goal is maximum impact. Instead of encrypting one machine, they encrypt hundreds, sometimes thousands. Let's also understand how they disable security tools. Modern ransomware knows security software is its biggest enemy. Before encryption begins, attackers often attempt to disable. They try to disable endpoint detection and response solutions, antivirus software, security monitoring tools, Windows Defender, backup agents, logging services. Some ransomware families even terminate security processes automatically. This makes detection much more difficult. Now let's understand the data theft. One of the biggest changes in modern ransomware is data theft. Before encryption starts, sensitive files are copied outside the organization. These may include financial records, customer information, employee records, engineering documents, source code, legal documents, medical records, intellectual property. This stolen data becomes leverage during ransom negotiations. So let's understand the begin of the encryption. Only after reconnaissance, privilege escalation, credential theft, lateral movement, and data exfiltration does encryption finally begin. Files become inaccessible, servers stop functioning, business operations halt, employees cannot work, customers cannot access services, production stops, every minute of downtime costs money. Why is ransomware so successful? It's all because organizations often underestimate basic cybersecurity. Many attacks succeed because of weak passwords, lack of multi factor authentication, poor patch management, flat networks, excessive administrative privileges, disabled security monitoring, unsecured backups, human error. Technology alone cannot stop ransomware. People and processes are equally important. Now let's understand who is most vulnerable. Organizations become easy targets when they have internet facing remote desktop servers, VPN without multi factor authentication, outdated Windows servers, unsupported operating systems, unpatched firewalls, weak Active Directory security, poor endpoint protection, no backup testing, limited security awareness training. Attackers constantly scan the internet searching for these weaknesses. So let's understand how can organizations protect themselves. Let's discuss practical recommendations. The first thing is to enable multi-factor authentication everywhere possible, especially for VPN, email, cloud applications, administrator accounts. The second one is to patch operating systems promptly. Many ransomware attacks exploit vulnerabilities that already have security updates available. The third one is to follow the principle of least privilege. Users should have only the permissions they actually require. Administrator rights should be tightly controlled. The fourth one is to segment your network. Do not allow unrestricted communication between every device. If one computer becomes infected, segmentation limits the spread. Fifth one is to deploy endpoint detection and response solutions. Modern EDR platforms can detect suspicious behavior before encryption begins. The sixth one is to monitor unusual login activity. They should also monitor unexpected administrator logins from unusual countries, multiple failed authentication attempts. These could indicate compromise. The seventh one is to keep offline backups. Backups should be isolated from the production environment. If attackers can encrypt your backups, recovery becomes much more difficult. Most importantly, regularly test backup restoration. A backup is only valuable if it can actually be restored. What should you do during a ransomware attack? If ransomware is detected, please do not panic. Immediately isolate affected systems from the network, disconnect compromised devices, disable infected accounts, notify the incident response team, preserve forensic evidence, do not delete logs, do not immediately reboot every system, identify the attack's scope, determine what data has been affected, restore systems only after confirming the threat has been removed. The next question is, should organizations pay the ransom? This is one of the most difficult decisions. Paying does not guarantee recovery. Attackers may never provide a working decryption key. Even if files are restored, stolen data may still be leaked. Many cybersecurity experts recommend focusing on prevention, resilience, and recovery instead of relying on ransom payments. Every organization should have a well defined incident response plan long before an attack occurs. Let's go through a few of the key lessons. The biggest lesson from the Gentleman Ransomware is simple. Modern ransomware is no longer just malware, it is an organized criminal business. Attackers spend days or even weeks inside networks before launching encryption. They study your infrastructure, they steal your data, they disable your security, and then strike when the damage will be greatest. Cybersecurity is no longer just an IT responsibility, it is a business responsibility. Every employee has a role in protecting the organization. The Gentleman Ransomware reminds us that today's cybercriminals are becoming more sophisticated every year. Organizations that invest in proactive security, regular patching, strong identity protection, network segmentation, continuous monitoring, and tested backup strategies stand a much better chance of surviving a ransomware attack. Remember, the goal is not just to stop ransomware, the goal is to make your organization so well protected that attackers move on to an easier target. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Network Fixer. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos on networking, cybersecurity, cloud technologies, enterprise infrastructure, and IT best practices. If you have questions or would like us to cover a specific cybersecurity topic, let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Stay secure, keep learning, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, this is the Network Fixer signing off. Thank you for watching. You have a great day. Bye bye.